Okay, you harness that motivation to lose a bunch of weight, to really restrict calories. You've got the gusto, you've got the goods right now. But then your friends come and tell you, hey, no, you don't want to lose weight that fast, or you're restricting calories too much. You're going to regain the weight, or it's going to be unhealthy for you. You know, there's this common theme that is out there that says that. It says, oh, you shouldn't lose that much weight that fast. And you know, when I lost weight fast. I lost 100 pounds in about a year and a half because I was like, I'm done. I just want to do this. I just want to get it over with. Like, that's my mentality. Like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, get it done. I didn't want to drag it out. And what's interesting is when you look at like risk, if you take 5 years or 3 years to lose 100 pounds, like, there's no guarantees you're going to be around in 3 years. There's no guarantees you're going to be around in 5 years. And if it takes you 5 years to lose 100 pounds, and the risk of regaining that weight back is just as high as if you lost that weight in 6 months or a year, well, it would make more sense to lose it quicker, right? But right now, most people tell us that our risk of regaining is significantly higher when we lose it fast. So I wanted to do a deep dive in this because I lost weight fast and I didn't regain it. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So the first thing I want to talk about is there was a study that was published in the International Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism. And this looked at cardiovascular disease risk as far as how fast people lost weight. Results were very, very interesting. They divided these people into two groups. One group of people lost 5% of their weight in 5 weeks, and the other group lost 5% of their weight in 15 weeks. Okay? Now, generally speaking, looking at their lipid profiles, they had about the same result. But when it came down to cardiovascular disease risk and LDL, the fast weight loss group had significantly better improvement. They had better LDL scores, they had better blood sugar, and they had better improvements in insulin resistance. What? Okay, so losing weight faster actually had a bigger impact? Okay, well, that's not the only study. There's a lot of studies we have to talk about here because this is an evidence-based channel and I want to look at all the data so we get the right answer. So there was another study that took a look at blood sugar, okay, in type 2 diabetics and pre-diabetics. Same kind of setup. In this particular case, when it came down to weight loss, there was a delay in the onset of type 2 diabetes regardless of how fast they lost weight. Okay, so whether they lost weight really fast or lost weight really slow, there was still a delay in the progression of type 2 diabetes. Now, diabetes is one of these things that they say cannot be reversed, but this study demonstrated that the more severe the caloric restriction and the faster the weight loss, the more aggressive the reversal of the progression of type 2 diabetes. It's kind of interesting. You can't reverse type 2 diabetes, but you can reverse the progression of it. So kind of weird play on words there. But the point is that severe caloric restriction actually worked better for this. Now, why could that be? Well, because caloric restriction is not just about weight loss. It seems to be a little bit more of a dimmer switch. When I did an interview with Dr. Tommy Wood, we talked about this in depth, like where weight loss and caloric restriction, it's not just an on-off switch. The more that you turn down that caloric restriction or turn up that caloric restriction, the more benefit you get outside of just weight loss. So this could have been playing a part here. And then we look at the mental side. People used to tell me all the time, like, oh, you're losing weight so fast, you're gonna end up messed up and you're gonna like be depressed about it because you're gonna regain and you're just not gonna be as happy as if you lost it slow. And I'd ask them to tell me why and they could never give me an answer. Well, interesting, when you look at the data, there was an interesting study that took a look at severe lifestyle change, like in a good way, like lifestyle overhaul, compared to metformin intervention and compared to standard of care intervention, okay? And what they found was that weight loss in general, regardless of how you lost the weight, led to equal improvements in anxiety and depression scores, okay? So what that is telling us is that when you lose weight, you feel better. Okay, you know that. So do what you can to lose weight. Now, I'm not saying you go and you eat 200 calories per day, but let's talk about the cons here, because I'm not just trying to say go lose weight fast. That would be very irresponsible of me. Okay, but we do need to look at the cons. And what are the cons? I mean, the concerns, I should say, are you're gonna lose weight so fast that you're gonna lose muscle. Very valid concern. You're gonna lose weight so fast that you're going to slow down your metabolism. Very valid concern. And there's also the concern that you're going to end up with micronutrient deficiencies. You're not going to get enough vitamins, you're not going to get enough minerals because you're simply not eating enough. Also a very valid concern. So there was a study that was published in Obesity that looked at this. It was designed to understand fat-free mass loss, like how much weight is lost that isn't fat when people aggressively restrict calories. So what they did is they had subjects restrict calories down to 1,250 calories for 12 weeks. And then they had another group restrict calories down to 500 calories for 5 weeks. So pretty mild, 1,250 versus pretty aggressive, 500. Okay, and then after that, they had them go into general maintenance. Now, what they found was no surprise. The group that did the more aggressive caloric restriction ended up with a pretty significant decrease in fat-free mass. What that means is they did lose some muscle. Okay, they lost a fair bit of muscle. So the caveat here is maybe we shouldn't be going that aggressive. And I don't know many people that can sustain a 500 calorie a day diet for a very long period of time. The other thing that we don't know with this study is how much protein were they consuming. Because as this video goes on, I'm going to give you very practical tips. Okay, towards the end of the video, I'm going to break it down like if you're going to restrict calories, here's what you should do. My thought is that they probably were not getting enough protein with this. Protein becomes the priority. Whenever you restrict calories, you need to increase protein, otherwise you are going to catabolize. That is pure physics, that is pure math, that is pure thermodynamics. Okay? We have to pay attention to that. So whatever you can do to get more protein in. If you don't like meat, then drink a shake. If you don't like shakes, then eat some meat. If you don't like regular meat, eat some deli meat. Whatever, get some protein in. I put a link down below for SunWarrior's Active Line Protein. That's the protein powder that I use because I don't really like using a bunch of synthetic stuff. I like the fact that they're using whole foods and really putting it into a shake form. So if I really need to get a shot in the arm, so to speak, of some extra protein, I'm a big fan of them. And they also have probiotics and enzymes added to it. So it really helps out with the overall digestion. Plus they're using pumpkin seed protein, which is showing to be one of the more bioavailable plant-based proteins. And no, I'm not a vegan. No, I'm not plant-based. I eat a fair bit of meat, but I do like adding shakes in that are plant-based because I like getting a variety of different proteins. So that link down below will save you 15% if you want to check them out. They have been a sponsor on this channel, I think for about 3.5, 4 years now. So I know the guys real well. I know what they put into their products, and that's why I recommend them because I try to promote good products on this channel. That's really my promise to you. So that link down below will save you 15%. So check them out using that special link. You got to use the one that's in the top line of the description down below. Okay, now we move into something very interesting though. This didn't tell us, this last study, we knew they lost muscle, but it didn't tell us if you could actually regain and if people that were losing weight faster regained the weight faster. Well, that's where we move into a very interesting study that was published in the journal Lancet. Took a look at 204 people. This study was really cool. They took a look at 12-week rapid weight loss versus 36-week slow weight loss. Okay? They had a target of 15% total weight loss. They wanted them to lose 15% of their total body weight. Okay? Once they reached about 12.5%, they shifted them over to a more maintenance protocol for a while. Okay? They didn't want them to go too far. Well, here's what's wild. They both regained weight at the same rate. Okay? Both groups, whether they lost weight fast or lost weight slow, after a long period of time when they followed up, they both had regained the same amount of weight. So if we look at this and we say, let's take a 5-year period of time, Bob loses 100 pounds in year 1 and gets to live 4 years of his life with 100 pounds off of him. Okay, Bill loses 100 pounds over 3 years. Well, Bill only gets to live 2 years of that 5-year period with that 100-pound weight loss gone, or that 100 pounds gone. There are extra benefits that come to living life at a lighter weight. Okay, so Bob got the better end of the deal, even if after 7 years they both end up gaining that 100 pounds back. See what I'm saying here? So it doesn't mean that you go and you try to gain as much or try to lose as much weight as you possibly can because you know you're going to regain it back. That's a bad way to plant that seed. But what it does mean is the fastest that you can successfully do it. Do not get the bug in your ear to say, I need to pump the brakes on this because I think I'm losing weight too fast. If you feel good and you're losing weight fast, by all dang means, keep on losing that weight. As long as you are feeling good and it's sustainable, there's nothing stopping. I think you should do it. Okay, I think that works. I think that's why intermittent fasting works so well. I think people rain on intermittent fasting and fasting because they say it's too aggressive, it's too aggressive. It works for so many people, and if the risk of regaining weight is the same either way, who flippin' cares as long as you are taking care of yourself? So what this does tell us though, when we look at this whole regain situation, is that The fact that we regain weight doesn't have to do with this, our body. It has to do with this, okay? Now, no doubt genetics play a role, right? Genetics play a very key piece here. As a matter of fact, when you look at every single correlation between genetic defects and obesity, all of them are related to the hypothalamus and satiety. None of them seem to be related to our rest of our physiology. It's mental, it's in the brain. And that doesn't mean that it's just you being weak and not being able to curb your appetite. No, it means that even if there is a genetic issue, the genetic issue is happening here, encouraging you to eat more when you shouldn't necessarily be hungry. Very, very interesting. The KSR2 gene is one that Cambridge University has really been studying a lot. This one directly associated with satiety and obesity. Also the DDR2 gene, okay, this is a dopamine receptor, right? So when you have a mutation or a defect there, you just need these constant hits and you don't know why, but everything in your life is telling you that it's fine because, oh man, I'm hungry, I must need food. Except wrong, the signal is all mixed. So here's what I want you to do, okay, and I hope that this is all validated what I'm going at here. I don't necessarily think you have to go restrict down to 500 calories per day, but if you are someone that is motivated and ready to go right now, capitalize on that motivation, capitalize on that mental state, but follow these rules. For every 100 calories that you reduce, my general rule of thumb is to increase protein 6 to 10 grams for every 100 calories you reduce, okay? Now, 10 is gonna be if you're more active, if you're training, 6 is gonna be even if you're sedentary. Okay? Now, if you're trying to restrict 3,000 calories a day, then obviously you're gonna be on the low side and maybe these numbers will change. But most people are trying to lose between 40 and 80 pounds, okay? So look at this and no matter what, increase your protein. So when you restrict calories, the more aggressive you get on the caloric restriction, the more aggressive you need to get on the protein to not catabolize and break down tissue. The next one is so important, and that is resistance training. You are not trying to build muscle. You're not even trying to do anything goofy, woo, witch doctor, ooh, weird stuff with your metabolism. I'm not going there. The bottom dang line is this. Stimulating the muscle is going to stimulate the muscle to maintain its size, okay? That is the strongest driver for muscle growth and muscle maintenance is the stimulus, not the protein. It is the stimulus. Keep moving and maintain intensity. If your calories get so low that you cannot maintain adequate intensity on your muscles, that is your indicator that it's time to increase calories, period. Every 8 weeks, take 10 days to 14 days at maintenance calories. Okay, so what you're gonna do is aggressively diet for 8 weeks if you feel motivated to, and then for 2 weeks, bring yourself up to maintenance calories. Not what you were eating before, not Twinkies and donuts and those frosted things, okay? No, eat at maintenance. Whatever you weigh now, eat what maintenance would be there. Then do another 8-week cycle of aggressiveness. And the next one is one that just might be interesting for people. If you are someone that is dealing with insulin resistance, doing the occasional bout of a lower carb or ketogenic style diet could be advantageous just for the insulin resistance piece in and of itself, okay? There's some strong evidence behind that. There's some strong evidence behind basal metabolic rate being a little bit better if you are losing weight with a ketogenic diet, but it's not forever. It's only short term, okay? So just remember, you might find a little bit more satiety, okay? Because that is one of the things that is evident with a ketogenic protocol is yes, beta-hydroxybutyrate can help with satiety. So if you find that, hey, I'm getting hungry, it might not hurt to twist into that a little bit, but by no means is it the only way to go about this. So as always, keep it locked in here on my channel. I'll see you tomorrow.